We tried to rescue this stray dog that we thought was a puppy, but it turned out it was like 5 years old and was, if not older than 5.
I think it was 50.
It was really old.
You know, Ginny,
Yes, Grace.
we've been friends for a second now.
Yeah.
And how would you say our friendship has evolved from our first time being on a tower together
Yeah, 5
to
years
now?
ago.
Or actually meeting on Zoom. Actually, me sliding into your DMs.
That's where it all
Yeah.
started. You slid into my DMs.
It works.
Yeah, it's really crazy to think about the journey that we've been on as people, as friends, since you slid into my DMs all those fateful years ago. But yeah, we met initially when we were both up for fall and we had a chem read together, and Grace had the great idea of sliding into my DMs to sort of rehearse together before we did this chem read for fall, and we FaceTime Zoomed together and, you know, had great chemistry from the jump, and next thing we knew, we were 100 feet off the ground on a pizza-sized platform together for 5 weeks.
Trauma bonded.
Trauma
but I
bonded.
also think we were like, I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like we disassociated. Like we were just, I wasn't fully present throughout that whole shoot because it was so demanding.
Yeah.
It was just kind of fight or flight the whole time on fall. That I feel like you and I, we just kind of, the whole shoot would just look at each other every once in a while and be like, you good? You good? Okay. You good? Okay. And then it wasn't until we did press that I really felt like we were able to laugh and like
Get to know each other,
get
actually.
to know
yeah.
each other because we were just on that tower, just quiet, just in shock the whole time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, fast forward to now doing another movie together and wanting to make things together, which is fun.
Yeah.
In Guatemala, being like, what are we gonna make next?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do next?
That was really fun when we were in Guatemala and you brought up the idea of we have to find our next thing to do together, whether it's kind of building on a brand of like Action Girls or whatever it is, but just finding what you and I want to do next. And that's the next journey of our friendship, is finding more projects together. And yeah, it's been a great 5 years, Grace.
It's been sweet. When's our anniversary?
Yeah, we need to figure out our DM anniversary.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So when we were filming in Guatemala together, is there anything that comes to mind for you that was a moment either between us or like with the cast that we haven't really talked about yet?
Well, I'm not going to go
explore?
into full detail, but
Right.
Ginny and I did have a side quest that we'll never talk about to anyone. We had a side quest that was fairly traumatic.
Yeah.
It may have involved an animal. And we ended up crying on the streets of Antigua together.
Yeah, we tried to
At like
rescue
1 a.m.
We tried to rescue this stray dog that we thought was a puppy, but it turned out it was like 5 years old and was, if not older than 5.
I think it was 50.
It was really old.
I think it was on its way out.
It was fine
But it was
before we got
given
involved.
a fantastic day. Anyways, we had to say goodbye.
We couldn't keep it, and it bit Zach, and Zach had to get rabies shots, which is ironic because in the movies
We
he
weren't gonna
gets
tell
rabies.
anyone.
Oh, are we not going to tell that part? I told that part.
It's so bad.
And Zach's
Everyone's
fine. The dog's fine. It was
We all made it out of Guatemala.
the only people that got hurt were me and Grace because we wanted to
Yeah.
keep the dog, even though it bit Zach. We
and
didn't
it was
care.
old.
And it was old, and
The discovery of it being a puppy to realize
it was like 15 and gray, and we for some reason just thought it looked like that and was like a puppy.
Oh my gosh. Jenny and I were looking at the photos from when we first found it. And we were like, is that the same dog? It looked so cute. What's
sad
going
and
on?
needed our help.
It somehow aged like so many years. But we did get it. Like it had a flea infestation, so we got rid of the fleas.
We got it vaccines so it could live out its life.
It could have
Just fine.
another year. Because it was so old. Oh, it's just awful. But we did cry when we had to say goodbye, and it was kind of crazy. And I remember looking at you and saying, "This is the worst thing we've ever done."
It was the worst thing we've ever done together. Was trying to rescue this poor dog.
So that's out of the bag.
So that was traumatic.
I'd say, yeah,
Nice.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Originally, you were going to play Collins.
Yes.
As my sibling. And then we made the change pretty much the day before
Yeah.
shooting, almost.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Well, it was kind of birthed from a conversation that you and I had because we were really excited about the idea of playing siblings, which I think will happen in some movie someday, somehow. Somehow. But yeah, at the last minute, you and I were sort of having some rehearsal time as Collins and Violet, and sort of got talking about the script and some other of the exciting scenes, and then you very kindly.
We'd been really working on it. We were excited, and I just looked at Ginny and I went, I think you need to be Talia. And you were like, I think so
Yeah,
too.
it was in my gut too that I was meant to be Talia.
Because I'd read through the script picturing you as Collins, but then when it got to the scene of me on the boat with Talia, I couldn't picture anyone else on that boat with me but you. I was like, that feels strange if Ginny's in this movie and I'm surviving with someone else. Who is that? It's got to be Ginny. Obviously, Collins. I mean, no spoilers. Collins is fine. But I don't know. It's like Ginny hanging off the boat. She's got to be right next to me.
And there was something, I was drawn from Talia the first time, but originally they were trying to bring back someone from the original Breed movie, who I could not have played her sister. I wouldn't have looked like her sister. So originally when I did like Talia, I was like, oh, that's an impossibility because of who they were trying to get.
That's right.
To bring back from the first film. So yeah, when it all sort of fell into place and you said that, I was like, God, that's been in my gut the entire time too, and it just all worked out.
In the nick of time.
And we got our cute little boat scene.
Yeah, it was pretty cute.
Yeah. Okay, so you had a bunch of tattoos in this movie that I know you got to personally design. Can you tell me about the inspiration for the tattoos?
We were kind of toying around with whether or not Violet would have a sleeve. And I kind of went the route of thinking, she probably doesn't have a lot of money, probably did a little tattoo here, a little tattoo there. And I don't know, I just kind of picked a few that felt like her. She's got them's the breaks on her arm, which is like, you know, that's how the cookie crumbles, which is very much her energy. And the little like crossed fingers on one arm. And then I did a salt shaker because I thought maybe her parents had a restaurant. Maybe her job was filling like the salt shakers when she was a kid. So I had fun with it. It was fun to be like, I'm artsy and I'm designing my tattoos. It really got me in the Violet mindset.
So I have to ask, because when we shot this movie about a year ago, you were in the sun for maybe 10 minutes
and
got sunburned.
Yeah.
And when you removed the tattoos, you had like a tan line for the tattoos. Do you still have the tan line?
I do.
A year later.
A year later. I still do. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Just sat in the sun for a little bit, and that fake tattoo just left a lovely floral impression.
You'll forever have a floral impression.
It's been months, and it's still there.
Great.
Violet's with me forever. I mean, I thought it would be fun to think about the journey of her getting tattoos. Like, maybe there's one she regrets. Maybe there's one that she really likes. I had to do the classic floral arm. I figured she'd probably get that when she was in high school, you know, and be like, yeah, I'm getting a flower on this arm.
What was your favorite tattoo?
I liked the little match box, like little matchstick situation that I had. And I liked the bird. I had a little bird on my arm. I don't remember where they are, but I really liked the fingers crossed and them's the breaks. Them's the breaks and fingers crossed is probably my favorite one.
I think I liked the fingers crossed because in the movie you see that one so much, and every time you see it, it's just such a fun detail. Yeah, hope they make it. So there's a lot of stunt work in this film, and I'm curious because you're shooting the bow and arrow, you're falling backwards off a ship, you're doing all sorts of amazing action scenes. So
you too, you're driving a mulita, you're driving a golf cart, you're climbing a rope, and you've got that paintball gun.
Yeah, I got my paintball gun.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite stunt, hardest stunt?
I think one of my favorite things was Violet shooting the bow and arrow out of the mulita while you were driving.
That's crazy.
I trusted you so much. You were not going slow, and I didn't think about it. I said, okay, here we go. That was really fun to be leaning out of the mulita, and you know, you would turn a little, and I was getting taken with that turn. Felt really real. Felt thrilling.
And it was amazing because you learned how to shoot a bow and arrow for the film, right?
I did not have prior archery experience, and that bow string, when it hits your arm, I had a lovely bruise throughout most of filming because I should have worn a guard. I don't know why I didn't. I think I just was like, oh, I can control it. I can control this monster. I can do it. And it just turns out that when you're in a mulita that's actually the only scene where I didn't slap my arm was in the moving car.
Which is amazing.
I don't know why. The angle, the physics.
And it
somehow.
wasn't just because I saw this bruise. It was not like a little bruise. It was like you had a rock on your arm.
It's
it was crazy.
It's
Yeah.
wild. But hey, them's the breaks.
Do it for the
The
art.
breaks. What about you? What stunt was your or action sequence was fun for you?
Driving the Melita was really fun. I got to drive really fast.
Yeah.
And over some windy roads, which was
Yeah.
really fun. Yeah, any excuse to get to drive like a crazy person I'll take. It was a lot of fun.
And I got to be passenger.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah,
I
it was
trusted you.
fun.
I had no fear. I was like, okay.
All you guys trusted
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I think I was given like one brief rundown on how the golf cart worked. And
I
they were
filmed
like,
it.
go.
I filmed it like a proud mom. You did great. You were like, okay, so I do this now, and the little thing was like beep, beep, beep as you were backing up. And I was like, you got this, Jenny.
It was fun, yeah.
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 Oh. I feel like considering we were on a set where we're running away from rabid dogs and trying to survive, it's interesting the contrast that we had in our evenings with Paige, Riel, Troy,
Yeah.
Joey, Zach, drinking wine and chatting about our work day. We were all having a lovely time debriefing at the end of the days, and
Yeah.
we all got so close. So it's quite the contrast, huh?
I have to say also in contrast to like the terrifying dogs and all the horrors in the film, the dogs that we had, the real dogs were so sweet.
Oh my gosh.
There was this
Yeah.
Rottweiler that's head was like this big.
You and the Rottweiler.
Me and this Rottweiler were so in love.
Oh, so
I just fell in love with this little Rottweiler. We would
Yeah.
just go for cuddles, and the dogs weren't, we primarily have CGI dogs in the film because the dogs
Yeah.
were such good little boys and girls that they didn't look that scary. But boy, was it nice just to have some emotional support dogs on set when days were long to just go cuddle with my little Rottweiler baby. It was
And
great.
German Shepherds, they're just so
Lovely.
beautiful.
And the puppy?
So beautiful. Puppy was so cute. I
Yeah.
was so tempted to take that puppy home.
Yeah, there's some cute dogs
So
on set.
tempting. Is there anything within your work on Talia and bringing her to life? Is there anything in her backstory that you came up with that we don't get to see?
I mean, she's high off her ass.
Yeah.
The whole time. Her red vines that she's eating are weed for sure. She's on a lot of edibles always. So that was really fun to play with. And with Talia, I loved playing with her accessories and her weird shark Crocs, which I loved, and her
So good.
gummy bear jewelry, and she's this hippie, and I don't know, like what isn't Talia is maybe the better question. But I just had so much fun with her. She's such a little weirdo, and one of my like favorite characters that I've
You do it
created.
well.
Because she's just this little weird thing, and
You
I
come
love
on
that.
screen, I'm like, yes, yes. She's so fun.
I don't know when I'll get to play a character like so weird again, and it was a great experience.
Cool.
I loved her. Yeah. And tell me about your process with Violet. Does she have any secrets or anything that you built in her backstory?
I mean, Zach and I did some like imagining of what it was like growing up as siblings, and Zach and I had this like backstory of just being kids playing soccer, coming home to our parents' restaurant because we figured our parents had a restaurant before the bar that we inherited, and just being kids eating pizza at the restaurant with our parents, and that like familial feeling within a workplace, even though it's a restaurant and then they get the bar. It just is like the bar is home, and we don't see it as much in the film, or you have to really pay attention to catch it. But Violet's really doing the social media thing because they could lose the bar, and the money coming in from the social media would help keep the bar. And so Zach and I really spent time just thinking about what the significance of the bar is to us, and the fact that it practically is home and a piece of our parents'
Yeah, and I think you felt that at that bar scene that opens the film, essentially. It feels really grounded, and you guys feel so at home in a space that I know you probably saw for the first time the day that you shot there, but it felt grounded, and like you guys really knew the space and knew each other, and it felt so familial. You guys built such a great backstory for siblings.
Thanks. Yeah, he's fun. I'm so glad it all worked out. That he played Collins, you played Talia. It just perfectly pieced together.
The movie's inspired by influencers.
Yes.
And I'm curious, I guess you are the anti-influencer in the film, but I'm curious when you were doing your whatever that means. When
She's taking a stance.
Yeah. Did you do research on different influencers? Were you inspired by any of that world to bring into your character?
I mean, I was kind of in the interesting position of her being so anti-influencer that the only thing was kind of figuring out in our one scene where we're kind of doing our YouTube bit and the Not My Hands cake eating challenge was kind of figuring out, what is her persona when she is on camera versus when she's not, and the fact that she hates it so much. So like, how do you have that infectious energy that we kind of needed to have for their audience, which are kids. So I had watched a few videos, but for the most part, I know Zach did more research because his character was supposed to be so into it.
Talia is just like a gamer that live streams, and so I think if anything, I didn't do much research in that world, but I'm just personally a big gamer, and I've thought about twitching, so I haven't done it yet, but I've thought about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming soon to a Twitch near you.
So if anything, for me, that just felt natural, because if I was ever going to do anything like that, it would be me playing video games.
Yeah.
So that just
You were just
came.
accessing a true part of yourself.
Yeah. I just
truly.
I want to play games in a little cabinet all day anyway. And I didn't know who Mr. Beast was before this, so there was like a big reference that I totally missed until much later on, being like, shit, I see what we're doing here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. My favorite video game is a game called Baldur's Gate 3, which is Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh boy.
Grace is like, don't get her started on. I've played it many times through. For my birthday, my friend recently got me a signed poster of all my favorite characters. But I'm deep in Baldur's Gate. Okay, I'm going to stop talking because I won't
it's not like you're going to show them your character or anything.
No, I'm not going to.
What would you say is a scarier scenario to you? Being stranded on top of a tower, something we've done before, or being stuck trying to survive against rabid dogs on an island. What's scarier?
I mean, one situation I survived and one I didn't. So I think I'm going to pick the scenario where I live, which is the rabid dogs.
Interesting.
Also, I love dogs so much. I think if I was really in that situation, I think I really naively would believe that, like, I could become friends with them. Yeah, I would.
You would change them.
I think I could. I think if I tried hard enough, me and that Rottweiler.
I could change him.
I could change him. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
sounds like you're not going to survive this scenario.
Either way, I die.
But fantastic. Well, now I think about it, I'm like, if I joined you in the dog thing, I'd be in a world where you survive.
Aww.
So I'll change my answer. I was going to say tower because you don't have an immediate threat. Like, the dogs, you literally are dealing with something that's going to come around the corner and maul you any second. Whereas the tower, you're just slowly wasting away. It's a slow death. Maybe I do choose the dogs. I'm here for the dogs. Yeah. And we will survive.
Yes. So if you got an invite to paradise with 6 other people to win this island, would you do it, or would you be like, no?
I mean, I have an aversion to invitations that seem too good to be true.
Right.
So I probably get the invitation and be like, is this a scam? And my anxiety might have me somehow convince myself it's a scam and I might not go. Unless there's some, clarity on it. But I think I have a little bit of Violet in me where I'd be like,
do you want to win an island, or do you want to be an island owner?
Okay, Vince. All right. Do I want to be an island owner? Okay, well, when you put it that way, yeah, Ginny. We're going to go in on it together? What about you?
I don't think I'd go. I don't think I'd go.
Okay.
I don't love people that much. Like 6 strangers, like...
I know, that stresses me out a little.
That's no good for me.
I don't think I would be the best version of myself. In that I think I would just sort of be like, this is interesting. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
We'd probably, if we got the invitation, we'd probably voice memo each other and be like, are you going?
Yeah.
And then be like, I don't know, man. Maybe not. But we could. I don't know.
We'd audio message each other for at least 6 hours and then be like, okay, if you go, I'm going to go.
Yes.
But if you don't go, I'm not going to go either.
That's it. That's it. My question for you is, what do people not know about you? I'm saying that like everyone knows everything about you, but you know, you're an actress.
Correct.
It's clear that's what you do for work, but is there anything outside of that you enjoy doing that people wouldn't know about? Any other hobbies?
I'm such an open book. I don't think there's much people don't know. But as I've mentioned earlier in this interview, I do game a lot. So if I'm not on set, you can catch me
on Twitch coming soon. I'm her promoter.
Grace has really been trying to get me on Twitch.
I actually have.
Grace actually has.
I'm like, get out there. You play so many hours of video games.
That's like, I wish I could say I was like more productive or interesting.
She doesn't play so many hours. I'm sorry. She's very productive.
I put the work in.
Plays video games after she's been busy working.
Yeah. I'm on set and then I go home to my cave and I just like...
You work the most out of anyone I know. You're always on a project. It's very impressive.
I have a hard time saying no.
I think you're so wanted. You've been at this for a bit. I'd say you've made a bit of a career for yourself. Let's say you're a bit of an actress. Is there any advice that you would give to your younger self getting in the game? Or would you avoid that because you don't want to alter the future, and if you interacted with her, you could mess some stuff up?
That does happen.
But imagine it doesn't happen. Is there any advice you would give her?
I don't think I'd be too anxious to like potentially mess things up, even though you said it didn't happen. Like, what if it doesn't happen? What if it didn't happen? But I do think the one thing that I'm really grateful for is I never had a plan B. I dropped out of high school. I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have anything else that I'm good at. Like, there was no choice for me but to make this happen. And there were so many times in my career where I hadn't worked or I was getting so many no's or whatever. Still do get no's and whatever. But I think not having a plan B is what really forced me to like stick it out and be like, this is the only thing that you love. And I always tell younger actors, if there's anything else you love, go pursue that thing, because this is a really hard, really heartbreaking, really long journey. And I just always am grateful that I think if I had a strong plan B, I probably would have given up at certain points. And so it takes a lot of resilience, and I would just remind younger me that it's a long journey, and you got to have tough skin. So what would you say if you could tell your younger self anything?
Well, she was about 4 years old.
She was young. She was really young.
So I mean, I probably would be talking to her on like a Leapfrog commercial, being like, hey, first time on set, kind of fun, huh? That's all I'd say. I wouldn't say who I was.
Leave her with that.
I'm just kidding. No, I think I'd probably say something similar, where it's like, yeah, this is something that you're gonna feel really unsure about many times, and you're gonna have to kind of fall back in love with it a bunch of times, and you're gonna have to become sure about it all over again a bunch of times, and then unsure about it. But that's part of it, and I don't know, have fun, kid. Have a good time. Go visit craft services and get yourself a little snack.
Go get some candy, little Grace.
I don't know why. I don't know.
She's like, who is this scary woman telling me to eat candy? While we were filming in Guatemala, did you have like a go-to comfort food snack? What made you feel comfortable on the island of Guatemala? Was Guatemala an island? On the island of Guatemala? I should know that.
Well, Jenny, on the island of Vince-topia.
Yeah, the island of Vince-topia.
You know, I had, and I think I can speak on behalf of quite a few people, some dietary restrictions due to the food there. And so I was eating a lot of chicken, rice, and beans. And then we got to a location where I was able to have a salad. And
that was a good one.
Oh my gosh, that salad was amazing. As lame as that sounds, it was called the butterfly salad.
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
And it was touch of heaven.
It really
It was
was.
so nice.
Yeah.
That was my comfort food, salad. Yay, Guatemala.
Mine was red wine.
Yeah. And mine was white wine.
Had a lot of red wine every day after we'd wrap. I remember it hit 5 o'clock. We'd be on the boat home from wherever we were filming,
Yeah.
and I would just
Very
count
1950s.
down. Yeah.
Very 1950s.
was
Us
just-
wrapping up our workday.
Having a glass of red
glass of
wine.
wine.
Yeah. A lot of red wine on that.
Puts you right to sleep.
Okay,
What do you got?
I think you'd want to team up.
team up.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if I was like, no, solo?
That'd be wild. What's the doodle now?
Okay, sorry, I'm taking too long.
Fight!
Fight!
But I said with love.
Oh.
Because you would fight with love. And
Oh.
be like, I love you, dogs. Yeah, outsmart.
Yeah,
I tried to do a
so-
light bulb.
I like that. That
Kinda
makes
looks
sense.
like a balloon. Flare gun.
Flare gun.
Flare gun.
Speaking of the flare gun.
Huge agree.
Okay.
I get sweaty.
Sweaty ladies.
I said agree,
I said agree.
but I drew
What's your
like
face?
a complicated face. Hi, I'm Grace Caroline Currey.
Hi, I'm Virginia Gardner.
Thank you so much for hanging with us.
And make sure to check out our new movie, A Breed Apart, coming May 16th.
See you there.